Puri from SEZA Architects and Interior Designers, and I'm going to be talking about the perception of luxury. So everybody is a bit self-indulgent every now and then. We like to be pampered, right? People like to, they feel good in spaces which actually are, beautifully done. And some people like to be there permanently. So we at SEZA curate homes and lifestyles for these kind of people. And when we talk about these people, we are actually talking about our clients who are well-read, well-educated. They are very, very familiar with all the latest trends and all the innovative materials, and they are looking at us to provide their homes and offices with the latest technology and with cutting-edge design. We are a multidisciplinary firm. We do architecture, interiors, product design, as well as landscape. And for us, I think our design language is about definitely detail-driven, quality workmanship and fine materials, so that the end product speaks about a design which is timeless. I'm going to run you through a couple of projects to show you how each program is interpreted in a different manner, is distinct, and there is still an underlying commonality in all of them. Am I supposed to use something? There's nothing here. Sorry? Okay. I don't think we require coffee out here. It's so bright. So the first project that I'm actually going to take you through is a multi-level. It's a 3-level apartment home. And when you enter, it's bang in the center like this. And this entire level opens out onto the entire expanse of the living room, which spans across 45 feet. One entire side, as you see, is fully wood paneled. There are some fixed panel and some sliding panels, and the other entire side is completely glazed, overlooking the greens. The entire ambience here is very understated, very classy. The color palette is very neutral, soft leathers combined with a more textured houndstooth. There is a white-on-white floor which kind of travels all through. This is a slightly closer view, and as you can see that it's the same tonality which moves across, and the color is actually introduced through the interesting art on the walls, whether it's Sakti Burman or the other art. Once we go to the other corner, this is actually the dining area, which is a slightly cordoned off from the living room through very light shelving, which has some artifacts. And on the completely other side is the more masculine looking den room, which has a wooden ceiling and a wooden flooring. And here you see that the colors are also a little bit deeper. The olive green of the sofa kind of relates with the gray, which are the gray laser cut panels on the side wall, which actually open up to reveal an entire bar. And on closer look, even the art on the walls is just black and white, to kind of go with the masculine flavor of this room. This is the powder toilet, which again is a tone on tone. It's a textured limestone with a plain limestone flooring. Now back to the entrance area, you see this image which actually has the screens drawn, and this adds a little bit of privacy to the living room. Once you go down the stairs, then you come into the lower level, which actually has all the bedroom suites. This is actually the spillover study cum lounge area, and this is basically where all the bedrooms open into. This of course shows you the passage leading to one of the bedrooms. And again, on closer inspection, here we've used a different kind of art installation which is made in ceramic, again in pastel shades of cream and pale pink. rather leading into the master bedroom, where you see again the palette of the living room coming down. So we're talking about beiges, and we're talking about floor to ceiling wall paneling. Again, the pop is brought about by the circular and the square Maya Burman paintings. So it's all very understated luxury. That's the corridor which from the master bedroom, which leads you to the dressing room, which again is plain leather shutters with only a center patch which is woven, and at the far end again is ribbed metal paneling. And lastly, it leads you to the master bathroom, which is again about the same white marble flooring which is continuing, except there is a highlight panel of a 3D textured wall behind the wash basin. So there's a lot of light coming in, and like I'm saying that the entire tones of the apartment are all singular. There is the same marble which flows through both these levels. Now once you go up, the third level is actually the entertainment level, and here the white marble changes into a much darker grey textured stone, and the entire entertainment lounge basically has its own private terrace which is cordoned off. And here the ambience is as if you are already in the garden. The landscape starts from inside and it moves outside. The entire furniture selection here and what's been used is basically all slatted solid wood, which can all be used outdoors, as well as basically the fabrics which you see, even the rugs which you see are completely outdoor. You see that the same grey stone which is used here actually is also on the flooring, it's also on the walls, and it just basically gives you a very nice, warm, almost, let's say, I don't know, rustic ambience, and it kind of feels nice. It finally ends. And this actually is the transition. So, you don't really feel that you are in an enclosed space because you have 20 feet of glazing opening out onto this, onto the terrace, which finally ends in just a slim water body at the end. And the sound of gurgling water is kind of nice when you're catching a drink in the evening with your friends. There's a small video which actually captures this space a lot better. a structure which is done with an outward-looking imagery. The entire apartment was all about looking inwards. The entire design was inwards-looking. This is about the sheer joy of being able to enjoy the beautiful landscape gardens from each and every room. So on a closer inspection, you see that we have a simple courtyard planning. There is a smaller courtyard on the front side which has a water feature, and a much larger courtyard behind on which the bedrooms open. And everywhere there is a play of lines, some thin, some thick, and all these wooden profiles finally form the entire design language for the entire structure, because they keep varying all over. There are some double height, some single height. This is actually a view from the living room, which is opening out completely onto the deck and therefore the garden. And another view from the living room looking onto the garden. And here you see that the volumes are much larger. The flooring is a lot darker, deeper. We've used deeper colors, more tans, and there's a very deep green which is used on the entire furniture on the left side. And on the outside, the living room connects with the double height space, the staircase which leads you up, at the far end of which is the dining room. And here also we've tried to create all the spaces flowing into one another. So actually here it is the luxury of more space and all flowing into one another. There's just a fabric sandwich glass which separates the dining room from the lounge, which actually adds also a layer of privacy. Leading into the home theater room, which again is fabric panel from ceiling to floor, and of course has a wooden flooring as well as a lot of carpet because it helps to absorb sound. It further opens out onto the deck and the water feature. And this actually is the heart of the home, which actually connects, pretty much the front courtyard with the back courtyard. Again, the colors here are a lot more vibrant, a lot brighter. And this actually is the view from that central lounge, the family lounge, looking onto the rear side courtyard, and a little seating and a little pergola at the far end with a barbecue area. And once you go up, a completely different aesthetic, because this was a 8-year-old girl and we wanted to use the power of the flower maybe to have a very different aesthetic in this room. So we have a sepia toned floral motif across 2 walls, and the antibody Moroso chair also with its orange and burgundy add like a really nice warm touch to this room. That's the son's room now, quite different. Deep cobalt blue and some lavender and purple thrown in. Also a huge deck which it opens out onto, connecting it with the nature. And once you look down, that's the water feature that you see. And basically this entire project is about dilution of boundaries. So there is no in, there is no out. It's all one luxurious space which you can actually appreciate from each and every part. Now we are also architects to Audi India, and we've done a lot of their showrooms in South as well as in the western regions of India. And this is the Audi Madurai showroom. Now here you'll actually see, now this is the insides of the showroom, and here you see a very different aesthetic, because the Audi language is about creating these two huge curves on either end, one of which is a black curve which starts from the flooring and then sweeps up in an angle to the wall, to the ceiling above, and the opposite side is actually the ceiling which is white, and that's another curve which kind of flows down. So here it is all about creating movement, and it's about being like a very dynamic space. Even the cars, they're arranged in a manner where they feel like you're going to drive out of the showroom. So here the aesthetic is very different, and it's a very different kind of look which we are trying to achieve. And finally, again, another project which is residential towers which are in Mumbai and Santa Cruz, which we actually handed over right before the COVID started. And here again, it's a very different approach to the entire project, because here it's the path from the street really to the apartment. It's like a little choreographed journey. It's all about the arrival, it's all about the entry experience. You drive past the sculpture and you arrive at this beautiful double height entrance drop-off point. And on either side of it, there are these large lobbies 20 feet of glazing on either end, and it's actually meant to make you feel that yes, after a hard day's work, you've come home, and you can actually grab a cup of coffee in the lounge before you go up. Now that's actually the drop-off point and the two lobbies on either side with some signage beyond. And that's actually a view from the landscape looking into the lobby. Now here you see that the landscape in the bungalows was so different. It had a completely different language, whereas this is far more cutting edge, far more modern, and very angular lines. The entire planter beds are angular. And of course, we've used some screening in the lobby itself to kind of again create a layer of privacy. And a view from within the lobby looking out, where it's an Armani bronze floor and it's a white travertine leather finish on the wall, and the landscape levels have been raised such that you can actually feel that you are sitting in the garden. And just another view from the outside, also showing you, how the overall effect is from the garden. And on the opposite side, we've actually created some interesting landscape element and combined it with the chess pieces for outdoor chess. And we've actually seen, a father and a daughter playing chess. So it felt very nice to create these things where you feel people are really using what you've done. And of course, it has a lot of amenities, but what we enjoyed doing most was that little cube, which is actually housed between the two towers and which has the gym. Here, of course, black and white vinyl sort of energizes you because it has these running men across it. And that's just the view of the entire gym, which overlooks the landscape court, and you feel like you're floating above in the middle. So basically, we've shown you a couple of different projects, and you see that in all the different projects, what we are actually trying to do, that each one of them is distinct. Each one of them is definitely detail driven, and our attempt is always to draw the person into this space and to make them feel at home at all times. Thank you. This is also a little video which I don't think we should probably run up enough time. That's another one of our buildings which is coming up now. Thank you.